So I just spent a magical couple of days doing my annual planning. I've been doing annual planning for probably 3 years now, and slowly but surely getting better at it. Now, this year, one of the huge transformations that I made was how I set my goals. I'm raised and trained in the corporate environment, and they say set SMART goals. So those are goals that are specific, measurable, attainable, or actionable, realistic, and time bound. And that's just not good enough. And don't get me going down a rabbit hole here, but I think that is training, that is programming. I've always been very project based, and it's hurt me because when you have a project, there's a finish to that project, there's a finish line. And a recurring theme I found in my life is I'm always going for that finish line. And I didn't realize that was a bad thing. That seems like a good thing, but I can't tell you how many finish lines I've crossed and my life hasn't really changed. It really didn't make a difference. Yeah, that's the crazy thing. I can't tell you how many corporate milestones, corporate achievements that I've made. Some fantastic and got me nowhere. So there's a lot to dive into there. But what finally hit me was what David Goggins said. There is no finish line. He tells the story of running in his group of Navy SEALs, carrying the boat, or maybe going on some ridiculously long run, and everybody's spirits would start to rise when they were nearing the end of the run. The mood would lift, and the cheerfulness would set in, and then the instructors would run them right past the finishing point, and they would keep going, and that shut everybody up. Like, oh crap, what are we in for now? But David Goggins was different. That's when he lit up, because he knew. He called it snatching souls. So as their hearts sank, his was lifted up because now he knew he beat them. And he even had that attitude towards the instructors themselves, like, bring it on. There's nothing you can do. The name of his book is You Can't Hurt Me. So that attitude, I finally figured out how to adopt that into my life. And it's not hard. It's just realizing there's no finish line. And to be successful, it's not in checking off boxes. It's in the habits and how you've designed your life and the person you become. And then the result is the byproduct. You don't chase the result, you chase the process, and you love the process, and you build atomic habits and awesome habits. So I'm dropping some catchphrases there. But that is the point. And so in the last couple days, like I said, took a whole different viewpoint of my goal setting. So the first thing I did, and I got this from, I'll tag you in this video, Alex, you sent me a template. I knew a lot of this stuff. I kind of did that last year, but thank you, because your product was super timely and just nailed down the steps that I needed to go through. So thank you very much for that. So one of the things that I did that is mentioned in Alex's document is going over your past year's highlights. So I went back through 2020, and luckily I keep a journal. This is 2021's. 2020's was orange, and I went through and I just looked at all the highlights of the year, and gave myself credit and I had gratitude for all the blessings of 2020. But the funny thing about 2020, it was a shit show for everybody. We all had to take a bite of a shit sandwich. But before COVID even hit, I hit a low that I've only hit like once before in my life. 2020 started off very, very, very hard for me. So it was about overcoming that. But at the same time, the things that I went through personally, outside of the things we all went through on top of it, was a journey of, self-discovery. And I finally figured some things out, some things that I've been told or taught, been beat over the head with. Finally, they started to make sense. And it was only like being, at the lowest of lows and then looking up and seeing seeing what could be. I'm not explaining that very well, but basically 2020 was bad, not just because of COVID for me. It was bad for a lot of reasons. So then the cool thing I did is Rock Thomas calls them the 6 gardens. In content marketing, we call them pillars. I did all my goals around pillars. I like pillars better. I don't spend any time in gardens, so it's a pretty word, but it doesn't really make sense to me. But I lean up against pillars. Pillars hold up porches. Pillars hold up roofs. I'm a pillar, so pillar makes a lot of sense to me. So my first pillar is health. And so, for example, I won't read you all of these, but my first pillar is health. And so my goal for 2021 is I am a fit person because I exercise it every day. I am a healthy person because I eat according to a plan. So that's my goal. But my goal is an affirmation. An affirmation is something you state as if it's already happened. And so I'm trying to build a lifestyle. I'm trying to do things successful people do. Successful people are in shape. Successful people eat right. They eat the stuff that will fuel their bodies. They take care of their bodies. They love their bodies. So my goal is an affirmation. Now, there are specifics behind that. I still believe you have to measure things. Otherwise, you don't know if you've made progress. So I have a belly circumference that, well, it's not a goal. I'm not even going to call it a goal because it's not. I have no idea what the end belly circumference number is. I have no idea. But I know that a person who exercises every day and eats according to a plan usually is not chubby in that area. So that's my goal. And the circumference and the number of push-ups I can do or how much I can bench, all of that's just a byproduct. The result's the byproduct. But I'm trying to build a person who's super successful, and that requires me to be healthy. Then, of course, I have business goals, financial goals. I call this one tribe goals. I'm trying to build a tribe. I'm trying to build a couple different tribes because I am a leader. I'm a nurturing soul. I want to help people, so I'm building tribes around that. Relationships, according to my friend who read my star chart, relationships aren't a huge focus for me. And it's funny because I'm 50 and single. I mean, don't say that about me and my kids because, that's my life. That's why I exist. But at the same time, being single has never been that big of a deal to me. It would be nice to be in a relationship with someone, but I'd rather attract the perfect person and they join me on this journey. But it kind of jives with what she told me. It's really just not that big of an emphasis for me. So I really don't have it much there. I just wrote I am love. In all things I want to be loved. So in relationships, I am love. And then personal growth and then spiritual. So those are the pillars that I did my annual planning around. And for each of those, there are measurables, but I'm not tracking them daily. I'm not tracking how long I can do a plank for every day. I've done that. I've been doing that for years. It's not motivating. 75 hard, I tried that. It's not motivating. It is hard, but I don't want to beat myself up about anything. If I loved myself, and this is the biggest point right here, if I loved myself, all of this would be easy. If I loved myself, all of this would be easy. And I would want to do it. So are these pillars, are these goals in line with what's in my heart? And if I love myself, is that where they come from? Do they come from love? I'm going to say this over and over in many different ways. I heard this on a podcast, and it's like, why does going to the gym and working out have to be hard? If you loved yourself, you would want to give that gift to your body. And it just hit me like, well, yeah. So that's how I did my 2021 goals. They are affirmations. And of course, I have a huge reading list. I created a checklist of habits that I'm building. And so it's a daily checklist. Not that I've done that before too, where I had all these habits that I wanted to, like the Lifesavers, the Miracle Morning. And I had a checklist of all the things to make sure I did them every day. But that, again, that's a scorecard. And I failed at it. And I don't want that feeling. I want a feeling that I'm doing the right things for me. So the checklist doesn't have to be perfect. I'm not checking this shit off every day. I'm not doing that. But these are the habits that I believe a successful person has. these are the habits I believe I want to have in my life. And so I act as if these are the habits that I live my life by. And then I just double check to make sure I'm on track. I wrote down what the perfect day looks like. Yeah, so huge change. Huge change to how I planned 2021. So the last 10 and a half minutes was basically my annual planning took me 2 full days and parts of a few more because I wanted to get in the mindset and like really feel what I was trying to do, not just throw some stuff on paper. I wanted to really feel it. But to summarize the whole thing is I went the route of affirmations. You know, I'm acting as if all this stuff has come true. And an affirmation is stated that way. It's already happened. It's happening right now. And so I can see this. I can see before workouts doing my health affirmation. I can see before I start work on my business doing my business affirmation and doing that throughout the day. Can you imagine the power of that? If you did an affirmation before every activity that was a pillar or a cornerstone of your life, and then at the end of the day, journaled all your gratitude. That is fire right there. So I wanted to make a video. It's January 1st, 2021, and I just now got it into my 2021 journal. I'm a day late, but I love everything that I came up with. I'm super stoked about it, and I wanted to share it. So there you go. And I love you too.